Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday and I hope that the new year treats you all well. Today I've decided to do something a bit fun and renovate the Pancakes house. Now, poor Bob and Eliza haven't had the happiest of marriages, but they do at least deserve a nicer home. Maybe it will help them heal. Bit unlikely, but one can hope. So today's build was actually a bit interesting. I'm not usually used to building exteriors that are this kind of complicated with a lot of like little bits hanging out here and there. So that was really interesting. At one point it did look a bit too rectangular, I felt, but I changed it in the end and it turned out with something I'm pretty happy with. I also tried to put this sort of skylight in the side to make it maybe look like the windows were slanted, but it just was not working. It had to be too wide and it just wasn't what I wanted in the end. So I ended up abandoning that idea and it didn't really suit the house anyway, so I was kind of okay to leave that idea behind and just soldier on. I also ended up choosing a really interesting, I suppose you could say, orange exterior. I spent a lot of time tossing up between yellow and orange, and I knew I wanted it to be something a bit colourful and a bit fun, but I ended up going with the orange in the end. And I wasn't really sure of that specific orange because it just wasn't like the perfect orange. But I decided I did want it to be orange, and The Sims would never really have the perfect orange. So I soldiered on and I decided with the interior, initially I was just going to use base game, and then I was going to use the base game plus cats and dogs, and then I was going to use the base game plus cats and dogs plus I think laundry day. So I kind of just gave up on keeping it pack specific, and in the end I just kind of used all of the packs. I think because it's a slightly bigger build than what I've been doing lately, it definitely made it easier to use more packs. It made furnishing a lot easier than it restricting myself, and I think it helped me tailor it more to Bob and Eliza's personal style, or what I think would be their personal style. I do have a few restricted builds coming soon though, so I did figure it was fine that this one wasn't restricted. I also have a few base game builds coming soon and a couple of base game and like limited CC builds, which I'm really excited about. I can't wait to tell you all about that one. I have spent so long downloading custom content and picking out kind of the perfect custom content that I can just download and keep in my game, that other people will be happy to use, I hope, and that kind of gives a wide range of styles that would suit most people's builds and that I can kind of create a lot of different builds out of. So I am really excited about that one, and I hope you will all enjoy it as much as I do. I had a lot of fun just like looking through custom content as well. It's been a long time since I've had any in my game, and the last time I had custom content in my game, it took up like 13 or 14 gigabytes of space, which is ridiculous because the game itself didn't even take that much space. So I thought that was a bit unnecessary and I ended up just deleting it all in one go. But I'm really excited to play around with it some more. I won't be using it in builds where I use packs. Maybe I'll do like one or two, but they're just not accessible to everyone, and I don't want people to feel restricted when they want to download my builds. So I probably won't do that. I'm gonna try and keep it just base game and CC packs. So that'll be good. When I did build it, I did disable the packs using James Turner's like sim pack disabler, which was really helpful, and it definitely made it easier to make sure I didn't accidentally use other packs in the game. So that was really good, and I will definitely do that in the future. For this build, it's up on the gallery at the moment. It does have pretty much every single pack. I definitely did go a little bit overboard. In the interior, I sort of went for a mid-century style. I used a lot of Get Famous lounges. I used a lot of the Snowy Escape stuff just because I think it's a nice neutral colour palette overall, and I think it looks really good. I also kind of made my own little TV unit using some of the base game kitchen cabinets, and I always think that's really fun. I think it's something you definitely see in real houses, them having their own TV unit, and I usually really like how it turns out. I think it definitely helps to fill out the space a bit more as well, and I feel like it makes it feel a little bit cozier even, which is really nice. Really liked that. I had a lot of fun building this. I did keep the common areas pretty neutral. I had a look in Bob and Eliza's original house that EA had given them just to try and get some ideas and to try and understand their personalities a bit more. I also had a look at their traits, and I wanted to match the house to their traits to kind of suit them. I know that when toddlers were released, they did give Bob and Eliza a son. However, he's not in my game. I don't know if I will ever put Iggy in my game, but he does exist. So there is 3 bedrooms upstairs, and if you would like to have him in the game, you can always swap out the 3rd spare bedroom for a kid's bedroom. I did make it pretty spacious, so there's definitely room to do that. There isn't, however, a kid's bathroom upstairs. There's 3 bathrooms in the house overall, a small one downstairs. I kind of forgot about the downstairs bathroom, and I just had to shove it in a little 3 wide or a little 4 wide room, but it has got all the necessary things. And then upstairs there's 2 bathrooms, one for Bob and one for Eliza. However, there isn't a 3rd guest bathroom, but there's definitely room to fit one in if you'd like, if you just want to shove one in yourself. But I figured The Sims practically don't really need it that often, and so I kind of left it at that. You may have also noticed that I did include a picture of the pancakes, because I just think that's really fun. I really like the breakfast pictures in general. I think they're a really pretty artwork, and I usually like putting them in my bigger homes. I'll double them up and have the bacon and egg one and then the pancake one. It was kind of an ode to the pancakes, I suppose, an ode to their happier times. So that's fun. What would have been even better would probably have been a picture of Bob and Eliza, or Bob and Eliza eating pancakes. That would have been a beautiful photo. It probably would have been taken pre-marriage breakdown, but I still think it'd be beautiful. So there is a few different living areas in this house. I included 3 all up. There's a little one upstairs and 2 downstairs. So they do have their separate space, and they do have their own bedrooms, because I noticed in their original house they did have their own rooms. So I managed to include them in this, and I kind of gave them their own little personality in their rooms, which I think's really fun. A bit sad that they're not together anymore. I didn't want to force them into the same room though in their new house. Thought that might be a bit cruel. So they have their own room and they have their own space. Maybe the new house is what their marriage needs. Who knows? Bob also likes cooking, I noticed. So he works as a caterer, and I took that he likes cooking. I think there was another trait he had about maybe cooking, maybe eating. I'm not sure. Bob's a bit of a slob as well. I did notice that. But I tried to give them a nice kitchen to kind of make Bob happy. I put a few creative items around for Eliza as well. And since she is a materialistic sim, she should be pretty content with the decor. But knowing the Sims, it's probably not going to be good enough for Eliza. She's probably not going to be happy. She'll probably blame Bob, but it's alright. They can live with it. I have been really into using platforms as well, which you may have noticed already with the kitchen being a sunken room. I've done a lot of playing around with platforms. I've slowly kind of been experimenting with different things just to try and make builds seem a little bit more interesting, and to try and make the interiors look a bit different so I don't end up repeating layouts in the same homes or in different homes and having them look the same. So this one I included a couple of different platform areas. There is the kitchen, which is sunken, but in this big room here I wanted to include a second lounge room, and I ended up putting it on a raised platform with a few stairs going up to it, which is where I used the snowy escape stuff. And I think it looks really cool. I really like how it turned out. I did have to make the house a little bit bigger just so it would line up with the fireplace a bit better, and so it didn't seem so cramped. I know it's probably a bit of overkill to have been using like two separate platformed areas in the one kind of room, but I do really like how it looks. I had a lot of fun building it. I think it looked pretty cool. I was really happy with it. I ended up sealing it off a little bit as well. I put a half wall around this little sunken room, or not the sunken room, the raised room, just to kind of separate it a bit and make it its own little private area. I also have used the island living window again in the kitchen. I am really into putting it between a wall and separating the kitchen but have it still be open at the same time. I really love when the kitchen benches on one side kind of line up with the kitchen benches on the other side, and then you can sort of pass things through the window. Well, I don't really line up in this one. They're like a smidge too short because of the platform, but I think it still looks really cool. It's one of my favorite things to do. At the moment, I've put it in probably the last few builds I've done, which I think it's fine. I think it's just a fun look. I definitely did go a little bit overboard on platforms. I don't usually put them in the upstairs parts of homes because I've noticed that the roofs tend to clip through, which is kind of annoying. So I don't usually use them upstairs, but I think it's fine. They don't really need it. I've separated the rooms in other ways that made them look more interesting. So you may notice now we are in the spare bedroom. So this room could either be for Iggy or it could be for any guests that the pancakes have over. Maybe their parents, who knows. But I did put a few different kind of skill building items in here as well, a few other items that I wanted to include in the house, but I couldn't really find anywhere else to put them. I figured a spare bedroom kind of makes sense for that. Like, usually a lot of people do have a room in their house where the rubbish gets kept, or things that you want to use eventually but there's no room for them year round. I also really like the Strangerville wall light. I think it's really interesting, and it's definitely something I wouldn't normally use. There's not really any builds I see myself using. Probably because it just looks like the front of a car. But I did think it fit in really well with this, and it kind of added a bit of personality to Bob's room, and I did end up matching kind of the whole room to this specific item, which may have been a bit of overkill. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun to use items that I wouldn't normally use, and just try to take advantage of that opportunity when I can. As you can see, they do have their own bathroom. Eliza's is a little bit bigger. Eliza's room is also just a smidge bigger, but I think that's fair. I feel like in my Sims story, Bob kind of did Eliza dirty, but she's just too nice to let him go. And I feel like I get that impression that a lot of other people feel the same way. So I did end up sticking with that, and to punish Bob a little bit, I just gave him a slightly smaller room, which I think is fine. Their bathrooms are pretty basic. I didn't include a washing machine in the build, but I did put washing baskets, which may have been a little bit of a mistake. However, I think it will be fine. There's definitely space to fit a washing machine and dryer in if you would like. Otherwise, you can always just delete the washing baskets. If you don't have laundry day, then they won't be there anyway, which is also fine. I really like how Eliza's room turned out. It was something a bit different to what I normally do. I used a lot of green in here, and I ended up wanting to put the cosmetics kind of table in, and I shut off the front of her room a little bit so it ended up in its own little room, and it was kind of like a little entrance to our bedroom, and I just think it looked really cute. I had a lot of fun doing that. Her bathroom also has a walk-in shower, which I also tend to put in every build because I just really enjoy them. I think it's just fun. It's very realistic to have a walk-in shower, and the spa day door is just, it's perfect for making walk-in showers. I really like how it turns out. I think it's really fun. The backyard of this home is pretty plain. I didn't include anything too exciting or anything too revolutionary, I suppose. It's just kind of your basic backyard stuff. A pool, a barbecue, planters, more seating, and I think it's suitable for these couple because I don't really see them doing much entertaining. I feel they kind of keep to themselves. Bob is a loner, that was part of his traits, so he isn't really one to want to socialize with Sims anyway, but maybe they want to get out there and spend their own time in the backyard, so I do include all the necessary things and everything you'd see in a normal home. The planters don't look very aesthetically appealing at the moment because they are just kind of empty planters on a strip of dirt. But as you play with this house and put your own fruits and vegetables in, it will definitely look better. I kind of like putting debug plants in there as well, but I don't want to start doing that in every build because I feel like it's a little bit of cheating, giving the Sims plants that are already pre-grown. Although it is kind of fun, and I do it a lot, possibly way too much, but it's okay. While I was uploading this to the gallery as well, there was some sort of weird glitch, and all of the terrain painting I'd done kind of just vanished, which was a bit weird. I don't know if I accidentally clicked something and made it disappear, or if it just did it on its own. But I did fix it. I put it all back in the end, and I re-uploaded it to the gallery, so it does have terrain painting, so there's nothing to worry about there. Anyhow, I think we're getting close to the end of the build. I'm nearly done with my cup of tea. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you have fun with this build as well. I hope you and your Sims enjoy playing it, whether you live here with Bob and Eliza, or maybe you have another couple whose marriage is a bit down in the dumps and you want to live here with them. Whatever you do, it's up to you. I would love to see how you guys play with my builds. If you do, if anyone downloads my builds, I would be so excited to find out what you do with it, if you enjoy it. If you want to see more of these videos, hit the subscribe button. I would very much appreciate it. If there's anything you would like to see me build, leave a comment and I would love to do that for you. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. I hope you have a fantastic new year. The download link for this will be in the subscription, or my gallery ID will be in the subscription. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!